The learning theory of behaviorism is based on one's ability to recall information. You learn how to respond based on what information is given to you. Behaviorists believe that if you present the same situation to a student multiple times, they will memorize it and be able to recall it quicker. Teachers use memorization, repetition, and imitation to get students to learn the information. One man known for working with this behavior theory was Ivan Pavlov. His most known experiment focuses on conditioning certain responses when the environment is controlled. His test subjects were dogs, and he was focusing on how some things are not learned, such as the dog salivating before food. What he discovered was that he could get the dogs to salivate by presenting a stimuli usually associated with being fed, such as a lab assistant or the ring of a bell. From this experiment, we learned that one can develop responses to a learned stimulus. The theory of behaviorism contributed to education in multiple ways. Firstly, it was now the focus that repetition led to learning. Now, whether it was writing the same letters, saying the same words or sounds, or completing the same math problem, the idea was if a student repeated it enough, he or she would learn the material. Another influence revolves around preparing for tests. Last year, my Introduction to Psychology professor told us that there was a study that shows students tend to do better when the study environment is as similar as possible to the testing environment. The brain is able to recall the information better based on your physical environment. Behaviorism has also influenced not only the learning side of education, but also the classroom management aspect. Its biggest influence is seen in the punishment-reward system. When a student misbehaves, you immediately punish him or her, and the thought is that the punishment deters the student from acting out again. It works with rewards too. If a student does well and is rewarded, he or she will thrive to receive a reward again, so the better behavior will continue. Although technology was not as common at the start of the behavioral learning theory, teachers who focus on this theory now have to integrate technology. More often than not, technology is used to view progress. Teachers use a program to track how the students do with different material, and then look at the class as a whole to reteach areas where they were struggling. One use of technology that relates to behaviorism is the use of My Math Lab, an online math class used here at Nova Southeastern University. There are many different sections, but the two main ones are the homework section and a study plan section. In the homework section, if you do not get the answer correct, you can choose to see the steps on how to do the problem. The problem then changes the numbers and has you complete it by yourself. Until you correctly complete the problem, you continue to redo similar problems over and over again. The study plan section of My Math Lab depends on how your teacher sets it up. This semester, I am required to pass mini quizzes over each section before taking a larger quiz covering multiple sections. The focus here again is to reiterate certain material and to get as many practice problems that are done the same way until you can learn how to do them yourself. One of the main teaching methods of behaviorism is repetition. I do believe that the more times you do a problem or say a word, the more likely it is that you will remember the problem or word later on. Combining technology, repetition, and memorization is a good way to keep the students interested and focused on the task at hand. Playing educational games on the computer is one of the best ways to unite technology and behaviorism. The one example that comes to mind is when students are younger and learning to type. There are multiple different computer games with characters and missions to complete, but the main focus is typing. The faster and more accurate you type, the more missions you complete, which is a good way to make the students want to learn to type. I disagree partially with the conditioning side of behaviorism aiding in a better classroom management. What many people fail to realize here is that the conditioning is not going to work if the student goes home and has a completely different home life, where rules are almost non-existent. There has to be more time in the structured environment in order for the conditioning to take effect. I'm also wary about repetition. Unless done well, like the fun typing games, repetition can become monotonous and easily lose students' attention. With regards to behaviorism, there is a very important balance to maintain to keep the students interested, but also ensure that the student is still learning the necessary material.